So for this week's Just One Quilt story, I am with Christina, a retired teacher who could have had a scary amount of time on her hands, but through discovering sewing and in particularly quilting has really found a passion in life.
I didn't have a good experience when I was a student at school. I think I had about 5 needlework classes, and then they sent me to pottery as somebody who was incapable of threading a machine. I originally joined your class to do some dressmaking, which I really enjoyed. But I think, like when I was in my language lessons, if you're sitting there, you absorb the language, and sitting in your classes, I think I started to, like osmosis, absorb quilting, really.
Did you?
But I had a perception of it being old American women, really, with mop caps and, I say Little Women, they quilted. I didn't quilt. I was never going to quilt. But the quilts that my companions in the class have made are so modern, so fresh, so vibrant. They look fantastic, absolute designer pieces that you would want in your home. So, why wouldn't I do it, really? I was itching to have a go. My family say that I'm like the mother on Gavin and Stacey, so Gavin's mum, because she always comes in and she's taken up fencing, and so to them it was a joke, really, oh, look, mum's made a blouse, and that's okay, but no, she's going to start a quilt now. She's actually going to make a quilt for a king-size bed. It wasn't, and I did say I'll make them one. It was like, oh no, thanks, mum, I'll pass on that. But now I think they're just massively impressed, and I think it looks fabulous on the bed. They are so, I think, taken with it. And I say I've got orders for my 2 daughters and my sister, which just makes you feel very good about what you've done, because actually they do look very good and very professional, even though they've just pieced together with little bits of fabric. Time at school as a teacher was always a hugely scary prospect, because you're always working to the next assessment. You're always working to that lesson and that lesson objective, and there has to be a lesson objective achieved in 50 minutes and a learning achieved in 50 minutes. Then suddenly I have this luxury of so much time on my hands that it didn't matter if this took 3 weeks or 3 years, it just doesn't matter. You have very little control over the outcomes. However good a teacher you are, their outcomes are their own. It can be hugely frustrating when talent's wasted. So to actually be totally in control of something I'm doing myself and the outcome that's going to create is very refreshing and very rewarding and very relaxing as well. There isn't an aspect of quilting that frustrates me or doesn't reward me. I find that my mind can wander. I think they call it mindfulness, and it doesn't focus on anything in particular, but I just get a massive feeling of well-being, really, at the end of it. It's self-gratifying too. For me, 2 years ago, I wouldn't have believed I could have this bedspread, this quilt on my bed. I wouldn't have believed I could do it. It's only the confidence that the classmates gave me in my sewing class, and that comradeship and companionship and support and inspiration that means I can produce this quilt. Just running your hand over it, and just the feeling that it's mine, really. Nothing could replicate that, I don't think. And would probably be cheaper to buy one in a shop, or it may be the colours would be better, but there's nothing to beat that feeling that you made the quilt. It's cosy and it's just yours. It's perfect.